From MTN News, this is Daybreak.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for starting your Wednesday off with us here at Daybreak. I'm Andy Curtis. I don't think I'm alone when saying that while living through the year 2020, the idea of time travel was very, very appealing. Unfortunately, unless you have access to a DeLorean, it's kind of an unrealistic option. But we don't have to worry about that because we have the next best thing starting this Memorial Day weekend in Helena.
If anything the last year has taught us, people have really seen the value in gaining enjoyment and health from being outside. You pair Helena's amazing outdoor spaces with our amazing history. Hopefully we can just add one more incredible thing to Helena.
There's never a bad time to go fishing here in Montana. And there's never a bad time to double check your FWP online fishing regulations. That's because as of April 1st, there's been a slight change to the size and amount of walleye that you can catch in certain parts of the state. And the thing is, come here, you won't be finding those changes in here. That change, which came after the current fishing regulations were already printed. A healthy fish population is one of the most cherished resources our state has to offer. And at this time of the year with rising temperatures, the best way to keep that population healthy is to change when we go fishing.
We're not saying you can't fish. We're just asking that you fish, from in the morning up until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Everyone at some point has food scraps at their house, whether it's from putting together a salad, chopping up some vegetables for dinner, or you come across that long forgotten about tomato in the back of the fridge. But next time you do that, think about this. Instead of throwing it away here in the trash, think about throwing it in a compost pile.
It's a free product you could make yourself.
You've heard it before. The pandemic has caused shortages all across the country. First, it was with toilet paper. Then came ammunition. And now it's a laundry list of building supplies, including lumber.
Winters here can be pretty harsh, and that's especially true if you're supposed to be a little farther south right about now.
Pelicans shouldn't be here this time of year.
No, they should not. But that is the case for this currently flightless bird. From the looks of things, this weekend is set up to tease us with another beautiful day. The kind of day that really makes you want to get outside and finally start that vegetable garden or do some landscaping. But don't be fooled by Mother Nature's tricks. Remember, it is springtime in Montana after all. Greg Chadwick, owner of Chadwick's Nursery in Helena, has seen it all before. The sun comes out after a long winter, and his business is flooded with wide-eyed suburban farmers and florists ready to break their icy bonds at the first sign of warmth in April, only to come limping back to his nursery with frost-battered plants before the end of the month. And that kind of customer loyalty is now paying off as more people are spending more time at home.
I've seen people buying at least one board game a week of these new faces, and I'd probably say I have 10, 15 new customers probably every single month. So that's pretty good in my mind.
And in addition to selling board games and other pretty cool hobbies, White Knight also hosts a game night in their store pretty much every night of the week. We've got a link to that information in this story up on our website. Reporting in Helena with this handsome guy, Andy Curtis, and Andy Curtis, MTN News. The secret is there's actually 3 of us, and I'm the handsome one, so take that for what it's worth. Taking a look at Back Pass, live look this morning. A bit of a slick start up there. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for starting your day here with us. Mild temperature, normal temperature, really sticking around for the next couple of days around the Helena area. So that means a high of around 37 today. Some cloud cover, but the sun should be peeking through as we get into the afternoon. And then we're sticking in that 37 range. Expecting for the rest of today. And a big reason why we are under that winter weather advisory, the snow on and off, scattered, a little more than scattered at times throughout the afternoon. Central Montana, western, we see a change. Temperatures dropping down into the 30s. Tuesday and Wednesday, another chance of snow coming through, but we're back up in the 40s to end the week. Well, the city of Helena is holding a community meeting this week to talk about what could become a major affordable housing partnership. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian takes a look at the proposed project. Well, on Tuesday morning, Lewis and Clark County Commissioners met to discuss two resolutions directed at placing a 3% tax on medical and recreational marijuana sales in the county. MTN's Jordan Johnson was at the meeting and has more. 6 Montanans have been charged in connection to crimes committed during the riots at the nation's capital on January 6th of 2021. MTN's John Riley has been following the cases and has the latest.
This time of the year here in Montana should be considered a state holiday, with hunters spending countless hours in the woods and mountains trying to fill their tags. But for some hunters, that pursuit lasts a little longer than a weekend or even a full season.
I've been applying for moose tags on and off all my hunting life. But since I've been here in Helena for the last 27 years, I actually put in for 26 years in a row.
Almost 3 decades of hoping and planning and checking. And finally, one day,
I checked my email, and sure enough, there was Fish and Game, so I thought I'd better go in and verify that it said unsuccessful, and it said successful. I showed the phone to my husband, and he threw all his stuff down, jumping up in the air like, "You got a mistake!"
just like that, after 26 years, this Helena Salon co-owner was on her journey to achieving a dream and continuing a pursuit that runs deep within her family.
My dad, brother, and my son now, my daughter, everybody, we're all hunters. It's just been part of the family. It is what we eat, and it's time spent with family. Growing up, that was what we did, and I wouldn't take any of it back.
Food and family have driven Stephanie to keep trying to get a moose tag year after year. And that excitement she felt after getting the news that this was her year was nothing compared to when she took that shot.
It was emotional. I had to tell him to shut the camera off, and I thanked him. My heart was pounding. I knew still the work had to be done, so it wasn't like over yet. And yeah, words can't explain it, you know. It was on my bucket list, so it was actually a bucket list thing for me to do.
And for all you hunters who haven't exactly had the luck of the draw just yet, Stephanie has some advice for you.
Patience. Having patience, having faith in the system, which after 26 years you would think you wouldn't have any faith. And people that say, "No, I'll never get it." Well, you won't get it if you won't put in for it.
Stephanie has got a lot more information about her story, and you can hear it on our website. Reporting from Helena, Andy Curtis, MTN News. Like many of you, I was out hunting this past weekend, and that's where I came across this. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, I don't think it's strange to find a shed antler laying on the forest floor here in Montana. But what is interesting is finding a freshly dropped one at this time of the year. That's because right now, male deer are competing to breed with females, and their antlers are a big part of that competition, meaning dropping your headgear right now would not be ideal. So with this antler being in such good condition, I had a few questions that needed answers from an expert to make sure nothing unusual was happening in the woods.
Yeah, trying to determine exactly when an animal dropped an antler can be difficult. There's no, born on date or something like that you might see on the antler. This certainly does not look like it's been out there for several years. It certainly could be, routinely if you find one that's within the last couple of weeks, you might see some pink that resides on the antler itself. This one doesn't have that.
Oh, okay. Well, looks like we solved that mystery pretty quickly. It's likely just a normal shed in very good condition. But deer, elk, and moose can prematurely drop their antlers for a number of reasons. None of them good.
If it were to have dropped, say, in October or November, something pretty strange has probably started to occur, because a lot of this is driven by testosterone. Oftentimes, you see weird things happen. You get different growth if an animal has injuries to their testicles. Something like that may have happened. If it's, animals are also susceptible to different diseases and cancers and what have you, and something may have influenced the pituitary gland or something like that. But for it to be this polished and drop off this rapidly, that would be something that would be extremely rare and unlikely to happen.
So it's a good thing I'm wrong about this antler being anything other than a nice paperweight. But diseases among our wildlife are a nasty truth. And as hunters, we're an important resource for fish, wildlife, and parks, acting as extra sets of eyes in the field. For example, FWP collected more than 200 chronic wasting disease samples from hunters this year. That's information on the fatal neurological disease that biologists wouldn't have without our help. So if you do see something unusual in the woods this weekend, don't hesitate to reach out to FWP. Even if you do feel kind of stupid afterward.
Now, I know I can't be alone, so if you have any interesting hunting or shed hunting stories, feel free to share it on our Facebook page. And if you want to learn more about deer and deer antlers, check out this story on our website. Reporting from Helena, Andy Curtis, MTN News.